Welcome to Fast Effect Double Speed Magic the Gathering. Here we have Yvonne on Dredge versus Spencer on Blue-White Stoneblade. This is the final round of one of our weekly tournaments here. Don't know if it's a FNM or a Wednesday Night Legacy. I think it might be an FNM. But we've got a Faithless Looting and a Lion's Eye Diamond. And this is disaster territory, so Faithless Looting, response, crack LED. Spencer, no pitch counter. So this is all going to resolve. Going to have essentially 4 dredges on this first turn. And, oh wow, he does have a Force of Will. Interesting. So Force of Will on the flashback. Upkeep, draw, going to return the Stinkweed Imp, getting another Narcomoeba. And Yvonne's not playing the same game as Stoneblade, I'm not going to lie. Stoneforge Mystic can get Batterskull, but if Yvonne can hit a Cabal Therapy here and get this Batterskull out of Spencer's hand, it is going to be incredibly difficult to get back into this game. Let's see if there's any therapies. Now, if Batterskull does show up, it'll actually be an incredible problem because that can just get returned for 3 mana, and that Germ will die as a state-based effect. And that is a train wreck, but it does look like we've got a therapy. Should be some zombie tokens as well. And Spencer holding on to it. Force a negation. Got some glare here for Yvonne, but I think we can follow what's going on. Just a mana confluence for mana. Golgari. Thug. And now 2 damage going above where the Stoneforge will eventually deposit this Batterskull, which I expect to happen during the end step here. So Brainstorm, put 2 back, fetch. And this is the critical turn. Batterskull is going to hold down the fort and also be able to get rid of bridge tokens at will. Bridge from below at will. So when that Germ dies, bridge from below cares about any creature going to your opponent's graveyard and only non-token creatures going to your own graveyard. Two more in the air, but this is all going to turn around. I'd imagine with this Batterskull, we've got a Swords to Plowshares. And we've got the Ox. This is a incredibly powerful printing. It delves, it draws cards, and you know it's 2 red mana to escape this, so this can happen again very easily thanks to Cabal Therapy or potentially Dread Return if Yvonne is running that. We'll see. He may have Hagak. We will likely see this get completely out of control. Two more damage coming in. And now Therapy. Finds a Spell Pierce. And Hagak is jumping out of the graveyard. Council's Judgment, the lone card left. But Spencer allowing the creation of a lot of zombies. as these Hagaks. I believe these are looping. I don't think he has multiple sack outlets. I believe we just saw the looping there of Hagak. Legend rule. He dies, able to continue bringing multiple Hagaks out each time, adding zombie tokens. And I think Spencer would have been better off returning that Batter Skull to get rid of that zombie creation. I mean, it's still a lot to fight through, but it's within the realm of possibilities. Once they start going that wide with the zombie tokens, I mean, you've got no shot. All right, so game 2, Spencer going to have even more tools at his disposal in all likelihood. Rest in Peace, Surgical Extraction, Grafdigger's Cage, probably amongst the most common. Oh, and this is this incredibly dangerous opening, Lion's Eye Diamond. Oh, but no card draw to follow up. That is surprising. I'm curious what Jovan could have in his hand that merits a keep with no discard here, aside from the LED. Another LED. And casting a Narcomoeba. Bit of an investment, needing to pay 2 life to get this 1/1 flyer onto the board. It is a body. And Containment Priest flashed in during the end step. And that is exactly the type of card that Jovan needs to be concerned about. Batterskull now. Thanks to Stoneforge Mystic. This is looking pretty disastrous. City of Brass. Ooh, wow. Firestorm. Get out of here. Taking out both the Containment Priest and the Stoneforge Mystic, leaving that Batterskull kind of stranded in hand. Let's see if Jovan has anything else to do with this. Does he have a Dredger even? What is going on? Now he's got a Cephalid Illusionist, or Cephalid Coliseum, I should say, which could end up being useful. This Stoneforge Mystic, able to find a Numazawa's Jite, and more importantly, able to get that Batterskull from hand into the battlefield. Wow, Gemstone Mine. I don't even know if you can afford to keep going this way. He really needs like a breakthrough or a Faithless Looting. This Batterskull is on board. And a huge problem. We'll see if Spencer is able to use the return ability to get rid of Bridges this game. Does seem like he missed it last game. I may have missed a little bit of the finer points as we are going double speed. Let me know in the comments if there was some aspect of that I didn't pick up on. And a Shenanigans, is that the name of that card? Yeah, that is actually the name of the card. It's a Dredge Disenchant, or Shatter. Had to check. I was like, that's just a word I use in my everyday discourse. Hitting a Narcomoeba. Some real value. However, this Jite gonna be a bit of a pain. And Shenanigans takes that out before it can cause too much damage. I mean, Shenanigans pretty strong at handling any equipment. And Cephalid Coliseum being sacrificed. Oh, and Jovan, I think, scooping it up there. Didn't actually catch precisely why. But we are on to the next game. So Sacrificing Colosseum. I think it was a Hushbringer on Spencer's side of the board, not a true name Nemesis. I'm not sure if I mentioned the card, but I believe it was a Hull Breacher, which would have prevented drawing cards with that Cephalid Colosseum. Now, if there are dredgers in the graveyard, you can actually dredge despite having a Hull Breacher on the battlefield, as it sets up multiple replacement effects, and the controller of the affected card or permanent gets to decide which replacement effect to use. So you would, in fact, use Dredge instead of the Hull Breacher replacement. Better to dredge cards and give your opponent a token treasure. So Ponder in this third game. And no major graveyard hate so far, aside from that Containment Priest, which I guess is fairly major. I mean, that's a dedicated anti-graveyard card for sure, and one that can be very, very difficult to overcome, especially in Legacy. Vintage, not too bad of a card to have to deal with. Remember dealing with Containment Priest by just like casting a couple of hollow ones. That was pretty devastating. And we've got a Cabal Therapy. Taking a look, we do see a Council's Judgment, and can't quite make out everything else. It might be a Supreme Verdict at the top. I believe it is. Lion's Eye Diamond. And it's so funny. This Dredge used to be a totally reasonable budget deck for beginners. Manaless Dredge still is, but moving into Dredge was really not a big deal when Lion's Eyes were, $100 for a playset. At this point, I don't even know. It's like $3,000 or something. Got some zombies on board and a Spell Pierce. Was that a therapy? I think it was a Cabal Therapy attempted that got Spell Pierced. And Dredge, kind of the way you draw it up is being able to activate that LED in response to your big card drawing spell, like a Breakthrough. You're going to end up dredging probably 6 cards on your first turn in the optimal setup. Breakthrough, crack LED, dredge 4 times, and then flashback a Faithless Looting. Containment Priest is flashing in, though not likely going to want to block. But even before that, we've got a Firestorm. Now, the cards do need to be discarded for Firestorm. That is part of the payment, I believe. Maybe I'm wrong. Let me check. Probably could have had a little bit more confidence than that. For sure, you do have to discard the cards. As you are naming targets, you wouldn't be coherent. Otherwise, you do need to name targets in order to use the card. You have to discard cards to figure out the number of targets, so Stinkweed Imps. Dredging, doing some serious work. Stoneforge Mystic. And now another Stoneforge. But Batterskull has been taken out. Now there's a Umezawa's Jite. Couple of Icarids coming back. And Grave Troll dredging. Icarids turning sideways, leaving Spencer with just 8 life left. And no zombie tokens at this time. Narcomoeba's got to be the best card in the deck by a pretty wide margin. It's an incredibly powerful magic card. Stinkweed Imp, Dredging. I mean, that is the continued story of free spells. They generally find a way to fit in somewhere, and Narcomoeba is freer than most because it's not even like you have to play the card from hand, like a Gataxian Probe or a Memnite. Like, those are free spells, but you do need them in hand. Narcomoeba, you don't even need it in hand. It's just coming back from your graveyard. Just truly the card that makes the deck work. Enables things like Prized Amalgam, Dread Return, Cabal Therapies. And I think Dredge is probably at its strongest when it leverages all of those cards as much as possible. I don't think we've actually got Prized Amalgam in Yovan's list. That seems to see more play in Legacy and Vintage than it does Legacy. Everything turning sideways, and without a Batterskull to hold down the fort, Dredge managed to take this one out in what I believe is actually one of its tougher matchups. That is all for this one, but don't worry, there is a lot more. You can check out our older videos, and we're always putting out new videos from ELD's Time Vault Games in Bellingham, Massachusetts. If you want to help the channel, of course, you can like, subscribe, share, tap that notification bell so you can know the next time our new videos come out. Thanks for watching.